Going to design this kind of simple minimalist website that just has a kind of logo, a search bar at this side. I mean, there is no problem in putting it this over here, and then a kind of a navigation bar, and then some text and few buttons. They look nice. I mean, it is a kind of simple website that you may need to do, and if you can make something like this, then you can do a lot of things. So this website is live now on the GitHub. Here on the GitHub I have uploaded, and here is on my desktop. So I mean, you can view the on the GitHub as well. I will add the link, and I will add the link to download the source as well. What I'm using Google Fonts, and the font awesome. Where is this font awesome? Yes, it is here, and I'll be using that for the icons. And this icon is not from font awesome. It's kind of an image I made. Yes, it's not. The font awesome's search icon is bit not that sexy for this kind of website. So let's create this. We need to open the code editor. I'm using VS Code, Visual Studio Code, and I will just get it off these files that I have already. And on the desktop I have the folder. So here is the folder that I worked on, and I just duplicated it, and inside I removed the HTML, I removed the CSS, so there's nothing we have to create from zero. So press file, new, or maybe command and control, and then save this file to the desktop on the place where we are making this website. So we are going to call this index.html. .html is mandatory, you have to add. Now we need to create one more file, that is, and save it as, and inside the CSS, this needs to be called style.css. Yeah, that makes sense. Now we need to create the bare bones of the HTML. By now you should have an idea how this thing works. I mean, you have to install some extensions from here. Just type the HTML over here, and it will suggest you all the things you can just put in. Let's give it a title of mini, and now we need to add the CSS file. So we use the link, and inside that we need, where is this CSS file? Inside the CSS folder, then put this / then style.css. Now the file is linked, I hope so. And underneath this we need to add that font awesome as well. So where is that font awesome? It's inside CSS folder. Inside that we have an FA folder. Inside that we have a CSS folder. Inside that we have all.min.css. I will just tell you where it is coming from. Here is CSS folder, here is FA folder, here is CSS folder, here is all.min.css. Why we are using this one particularly? Because this is compressed like this. It is not having all those spaces and all those things. That makes sense. Now these two things are attached. We need to attach the font as well, but we will use the font inside the CSS. That's kind of smart thing that you have to do. So first of all, create the header and give it a class of header itself. Inside this we need what we need the logo. So logo can be h1, and let's call this logo and give it a name of mini bev. That makes sense. And underneath this, what we need now, we need this search thing. So what can be that? That can be a div, no problem, serc search. And inside this we need to have two things, I assume. First is an input, and the input should have a class of input. I mean, you will know why I'm doing this, because that makes sense. We need an image because we are using a image for that search icon. So it's search.png. Let me show you where this is coming from. Here it is, and inside img folder we have the search.png. No magic happening. All the things are. Always put some text inside this URL. That's very important. Now this is done, this is taken care of. Now we need to create the navigation bar, nav, and call this link as links. And inside this we need to have a few a tags, and we give them class of n links. Makes sense. And we are not taking them in anywhere, so we are putting hash mark, not to the google.com, facebook.com, and all those. First is home, and then we duplicate this, what's up, home, okay, and then shift alt or shift option down arrow, it is duplicated. And how about and then pretty generic. Okay, generic. And then services, then about services. What else we have? I should go back to the browser, and yeah, there's work. I will make them all capital, but with the help of the code, not writing the hard coded thing. That's not a small thing. CTACT, contact us. That makes sense now. I think this is done to some extent. Let's come back and open this thing. Oh, this is why this is so huge, this icon. So we have to make it small. This with a width of maybe how much? WIDT is width of maybe 14 pixels, and it's making sense now. Maybe 16 pixels will make sense. Have I added 100 plus? Now it's making sense, but I will take care of this. Do not worry. Now the header is done. Now we need to style. Let's keep on styling. First thing first, we need to add the fonts. Go to Google Fonts, and I have selected few fonts, Corona one and Poppins. Let me show you how I added that. And I just looked for those fonts, and what I liked, I just clicked on the plus, and I did on the two fonts towards selected. So now you have to go to import. If you are clicking this standard, then you are using that in HTML file, but that is kind of not good. Import this thing looks good, great. Okay, and just go to your CSS file at the top, just put this. The fonts are important now. You do not have to do anything else, and you have to just give the font family to the things that you want to style. First thing first, you have to reset the browser's default padding and margin. So just, what's that? MAR. I hate it when they give wrong suggestions. Margin and padding are 0 now. We need to create the canvas. That's the place where we are going to create the website. That's inside the body, and we do not have to give it any class or ID. So give it a width. That's how things look, width and height. So it should be 100% of the screen. That's 100%. 100 VW means view width. Its height should be automatic. Yeah, that makes sense. And what else we need? I think that's good enough for now. We need to style the header now. So the header, what does header need? It needs a width as well. How about 96 VW? I think, how about 90 VW? 90 view width, 90%. That means 90% height of maybe 120 pixels. That makes sense. And what else we need? We need to put things in the center. So if I write margin 0% at top, and left and right should be auto. If I come back now to the website, now this thing is not, why this thing is not placed in the center? Does it have a width? It has a width, but the things are not aligned. Let me show you what's not happening. So if I play display flex now see the things, it is happening like this. We need to space them out. Flex is kind of magic like the CSS grid. So justify content, space. You can try all of these three options evenly, and space. It's happening like that, but there is a problem. These links should not happen like that. Why it is happening? These should be inside here. Now yes, we will style them individually. We are not rushing. Okay, and what else we need to center them as well. The headers height is 120 pixels. Why are they going above? So line items is a property given by CSS flex, and now this will put them in the center. That's looking nice. Now we need to style it once more. But first of all, we are going to give it a font. Come over here, and we are going to give it the font family of Corona, kind of. So inside header, we need to write this. If I write this now and come back over here, font family should be changed. It didn't. Why? Let me come back, And have I saved it? I'll save. Yes, that works. But yeah, I will take care of that. The phone is looking pretty large. And what is the name of this thing? First thing first, let's style the logo. Logos font size should be 0.8 ems. Yeah, I know. I will make that capital, so that is text transform uppercase. We may still need to reduce its font, and we want to space it out a bit, like the. So what is that? Is it line? uh, it's letter spacing, maybe. How about 4 pixels? Yeah, it's kind of looking good. Now it needs a border as well. Border, we want to put a kind of box, so it's 1 pixel solid. um, Black will work now. That's okay, but it needs a width as well. Width, how? Maybe 120 pixels. That's still very small. Maybe I think 200 pixels should work. Guys, try to make sense, try to understand. You do not have to, you do not need 2000. You do not have to like just complete the tutorial. You have to make sense, you have to understand. I mean, I am able to do this fast now. Why? Because I have literally done so many websites that today I know how these things even work. 26 is not working. Why? Just 26 numbers not needed. We have to put pixels as well. Why this is not in the center now? We need to put the text in the center. So text align in the center. If I do this, yeah, we need to put the line height as well. Line height of maybe how much? Same as the height of this parent. 26 pixels if this is the height. Now this is there. It's going well now. Now we need to style this. What is the name of this thing? It's a search. Let's style the search. SERC search. What does it need? It needs a border. 1 pixel solid black. You might be confused. What is that? I will take care of this. Now we have input. We need to reduce the border. Remove the border. Border should be none. Yeah, that will make sense. Now the search should be display flex, because we want to align things in the good looks. Now what else we need? We need to give it some padding. We need to give it some width, and how much is okay? 180 pixels. Let's try that. Let's see that it works. How about 160 pixels? I will take care of all the things that might be rising in your mind now. Height, or maybe we'll give it some padding, maybe 26 pixels. Let's try that, if that makes some sense or not. That's kind of making sense, but why is that thing expanding? That is very bad. Now we need to do one thing. We will give it some padding of 4 pixels. That's making sense now. Maybe if you want to put some text inside this, like this, where is the input class? You have to put the placeholder here, and it can be search. That's looking fine. Do you want to change the font size of this search? I mean, you cannot access it easily, so you have to put this, then the placeholder, then this thing, font size. Now you can take care of this. 1.2 ems should work. 1.20 not. 1.2 ems. If I come back now to the browser, not like this. You see the font changed. And do you want to align them like to the extreme edge? So use the same thing, justify content space between. Is that doing something? Yes, it is doing. Do you want to change the opacity of that icon? So there is an icon inside this. So how we use search is the field, and inside this we have an image that is an icon. We need to reduce its opacity. How about 0.5? Yeah, that's looking fine. But why they are not spaced well? I think, where is that padding? How about 6 pixels? I think that will make it of same height. So now the search needs to have a margin on the right. How about auto? If I put the auto, it will be just attached to that. Now we need to give it a margin on the left. Left, how much? Yeah, anything. I mean, maybe 2%. Just try to make some sense. Try to understand things. Why these things are happening like this. I will give some odd number. I'm sorry for that. Now they are, I think, the same height. I do not have a scale to measure them. Now why they are not spaced out? I have given them a class to these links and links. So come down here, dot nlinks and links. They need the padding. Just give them padding and maybe 20 pixels, and they will be spaced out. Why it didn't happen? Let's come back. nlinks. I mean, these mistakes are common, so just don't worry. Font size is looking pretty huge. How about I could use font, and I mean that's common property, and that take care of a lot of things. Font size should be maybe 0.7 ems. I think I'm already using that thing. Maybe no, that is making it very small, but we need to make them capitalized. So text transform uppercase. Let's see if that work or not. That is working. We need to reduce the underline, so that is the text decoration. Text decoration, and it needs to be none. That's working. Do we want to change the color of these? Yeah, just put the color and give it black. You could just write the black instead of writing #000. I mean, that's making sense. And now, we want to put some border at the bottom? No, we don't want. Now we want to create that section underneath this. So come out of the header. That is done. Create the main. Main is given by the HTML itself, so you do not have to create a div. I created the main and I gave it a class of main. Yeah, that is created. Now what we need to create a section. I mean, it could be a div as well, but section is a good thing. Section, call it top part, top top area. That makes sense. Yeah, inside it's we need what we have over here. We have some text and some block of text and some buttons. So first we need an s2 tag. It could be s3 also, but s2 makes sense. Then give it an id of title, title, why not? And mini, yeah, what's written over here? I will just copy it instead of making it up. Oh, that didn't work. Minimalism has to be, the heck, why it is saving? I'm just so much in the habit of pressing this command s or control s so many times that it gives some problem. Anyway, underneath this we need some p, so let's call that some text. Yeah, just text, and we need to put some lorem ipsum, maybe 120, and it has written all the text for us. We do not have to write that or copy from anywhere. Underneath we need two buttons, so why don't we group them together? So create a div dot pu buttons, and now inside this I can put two buttons. So buttons buwn, give them a class of app. First one should have be download, download app, but we also have a download arrow over there. So how we do that? Put some space over here, then press I. To the I, give it a class of fa or for dash down arrow. Is that so? Down dash a. I may need to, what I'm doing, I should be here. Oh, that has not worked. I need to create one more button as well. I will just duplicate this. I will take care of the style, don't worry. but this arrow is not working. Why so? It should be found awesome simple. Let's try that. And DOWNLOAD, download. How about download? Does that make sense? But I don't like that icon. That's, we need the kind of this minimal icon. Yes, I think that's arrow. DOWN, download, down arrow. I think that's making some sense maybe. And maybe it is FAR. Still, it's not making sense. What is down arrow? Why it is so? Oh my god. For dash. What does that even mean? Okay, I should be doing it again. Why even guessing? Why don't you go to the font awesome and look for the arrow? I mean, you do not have to guess anything. Everything is in front of you. You just have to use the sources. There's no logic in doing that. Okay. Okay, I'm telling you all the scenarios. What can be the problem? So I will click on the free because we want to use just the free one. What is the arrow that we have used over there? It should be subtle one. This arrow down, and I'll just wait for it to load. That takes a lot of time. It is wasting our precious time. That's a bad thing. In the meantime, I can just style these buttons. So .bu buttons. How about display them flex? Yeah, they will be displayed like that. And how about, yeah, I think they are already displaying like adjacent to each other. There's no problem. And then what? We need some margin on the right, maybe. How about 2%? That didn't work. I think I have to give them to the individual, that is add margin on the right 2%. Yeah, that's making sense. But why it doesn't have a kind of width? So let's access the main and how about its width, and let's give that 90 bw. Height, it should be automatic, and margin to put this thing in the center should be 2% at the top and bottom, and automatic on the left and right. This should put things in the center, and that did. And now this thing, what is the name of this thing? This is top area dot topare, top area. It needs a margin at top, so it's not going just to the top. How about 6%? Let's see if that makes sense or not. Yeah, some sense, kind of. Maybe we could put it down as well. We need to change the font of this area, so come back to this Google Fonts and copy this Poppins font which I'm using over here. So in the main area we will use this Poppins font. I mean, it could be any font. Let's come back and see. Yeah, the font has changed. Now this S2 tag that has an ID of title, have I accessed it already? No, I have not. So it's in the top area. Underneath this I will put TITL, title. It needs a margin at bottom. How about 2% or maybe 4% that we will need? Yeah, it has spaced out. Now the text, that too needs some margin at the bottom. So let's text margin at bottom. Yeah, 2% or 4% could work. Yeah, that's making sense. Now these buttons need to be styled. What is the class of these buttons? They have an app, and so give them a width of maybe 200 pixels, height of around 30 pixels, and they need a border 1 pixel, 1 pixel, solid, and we are using black. We do not need any background color, kind of gray and all those things. So background, none. What else we need? Let's see if it's making some sense or not. It's making sense, but still we need to. Okay, when I hover on this app, we how we use that. Its background color should be kind of green, but not this green. We need a kind of subtle green, and the font color should be changed to white, and the border of the box should be none because it has a black border, and yeah, that border should disappear, but we need that arrow. Have we accessed that? Yeah, it is now here. We just copy it, and instead of this, I will, what I'm doing, remove this whole thing and now put this. Okay, now if I save it now and come to my browser, yeah, the arrow is showing up now. I will have to just, I will remove this, duplicate it once again, and download ebook. I think the website that we were doing, and that's pretty much done. We have done like, we have used few things like Flexbox, some few nice things in the CSS. I mean, this is a kind of very simple website, and we can create a footer as well if we want to complete this. Come under the main is done, so we have to create footer and give it a class of footer. Inside this, we need to put that. Let's create a p tag and create the copy, and copy copy. It will give you option copy. Let's give 20 20. Do we need the footer to have a background? I think not. Let's see that. Now we have to style the footer. Footer, it should have a width of 100%, height of maybe 200 pixels. Does it need a background? No, we need a border at top. 1 pixel, solid black. That makes sense. Yeah, but why it is 200 is too much. 120 should work, and we will put it bottom as well. How? We'll give margin at the top. Margin top maybe 10%. 10%. If I save and come down now, it has gone down. I think it's still too much. How about 14 pixels? I mean 14%. That's making sense. Now we need to center the text. What we use? We have to use text align, and it should be center. But we need to align it vertically as well. So we have to use line height. How much? The same height as the parent. If I come down now, it's making sense. And if you don't like this arrow at the top or this border at the top, you could either remove it or maybe reduce its opacity by putting the opacity. And I think this is making sense. If I change the line height to maybe 180 pixels, let's see what happens. Maybe 200 pixels. Yeah, it's making sense now. The website is done. It's kind of nice looking, and just give it a try, and this will be fun. Thank you. Have a good day.